Have you ever felt it? That quiet, gnawing confusion, a silent tempest in your soul after an interaction that defied all logic, all reason? Have you stood in the wreckage of a connection, trying to piece together a puzzle where the shapes keep changing, where the past itself seems to rewrite its own history before your very eyes? You are not alone in this labyrinth. This feeling, this profound sense of disorientation, is a sacred signal, a call from your higher self to awaken to a deeper truth. It is the first whisper of a universal law that has been operating in the shadows, an unseen algorithm governing the dance of human connection. If this frequency resonates within your being, if these words echo a truth you have long felt but could not name, then signal your alignment in the comments below. Type, "I have awakened," to declare your readiness to see beyond the veil. Your journey into profound clarity begins now, and by liking and subscribing, you join a brotherhood of souls dedicated to mastering the game by transcending it. Let us first turn our attention to a timeless observation, a fragment of wisdom that pierces the heart of modern discontent. The philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer once wrote, "The happiness of most men is not ruined by great catastrophes or fatal errors, but by the repetition of slowly destructive little things." We often look for the grand betrayal, the singular cataclysmic event that shatters our peace. Yet, the divine truth is far more subtle, far more insidious. True erosion of the spirit comes not from the earthquake, but from the constant, gentle drip of water on stone. It is the thousand tiny cuts, the unspoken disappointments, the subtle shifts in energy that go unaddressed, which ultimately wear down the foundation of a man's inner world. You believe you understand the intricate dance with the feminine, that you have mastered the steps and learned the music. But what if I told you that this very belief is your first and most profound misstep? What if the map you've been given is deliberately incomplete, showing you the continents, but hiding the powerful, invisible currents of the oceans that truly dictate your journey? There exists a force, a hidden current of immense power, an instinctual weapon of divine origin. It is not a tool of malice, but a mechanism of nature, wielded by the feminine with an effortlessness that borders on the sublime. Modern women, for the most part, are not even conscious of the immense power they channel. It flows through them as naturally as breath. Yet, this is not a new discovery. This is an ancient truth, a prophetic insight exposed centuries ago by one of history's most misunderstood and maligned philosophers. The darkest, most brutally honest thinkers of our past saw it with chilling clarity. Every man who has ever felt the sting of a sudden, inexplicable betrayal has felt its effects. Every man who has been left bewildered by a love that vanished like morning mist has been a subject of its immutable law. But once you recognize it, once you truly see this force for what it is, your frequency shifts. You are no longer susceptible to being blindsided. You gain a form of spiritual armor. This journey we are embarking on is not about cultivating bitterness or resentment. Let go of that low vibrational energy immediately. This is about divine liberation. It is about seeing the game, the grand cosmic play, with such piercing clarity that you are no longer a mere player on the board. You step out of the cage of confusion and into the boundless freedom of understanding. You become the observer, the master, the one who understands the rules so deeply that they no longer apply to you in the same way. Picture the scene. The year is 1851. In a quiet, dusty room in Frankfurt, a man hunched over his desk, his brow furrowed with the weight of a lifetime of observation, dips his pen into ink. This man, a bitter and solitary figure to many, was about to write a line that would echo through the centuries. A truth so raw and so potent that it would outlive him, outlive empires, and find its validation in the data-driven world of modern science. Women, he wrote, exist solely for the propagation of the race. The man's name was Arthur Schopenhauer, philosopher, cynic, and, as we now understand, the first true cartographer of the hidden territories of human nature, what many today might call the first true black pill thinker. For generations, his words have been twisted, mocked, and dismissed. They have been branded as the bitter ravings of a lonely misanthrope, a man who failed at love and so sought to poison the well for everyone else. But ask yourself a sincere question, a question that requires you to silence the noise of modern conditioning and listen to the quiet wisdom of your own experience. What if he wasn't wrong? What if he was simply early? What if his soul was attuned to a frequency that the world was not yet ready to acknowledge? Modern science, with its cold, impartial data, has begun to confirm the very essence of Schopenhauer's prophecy. Evolutionary biology and psychology are painting a picture that aligns with his core insights. They speak of sexual selection, of the divine feminine as the selective principle of the species. It is the feminine that holds the keys to the future of the race, and her choices, whether conscious or not, dictate the fate of men, the trajectory of civilizations, even the rise and fall of entire empires. Yet here is the crucial piece of the puzzle, the part that no one tells you. This entire process, this vast and powerful mechanism, operates almost entirely on an unconscious level. Most women do not realize they are doing it. They are not acting out of a place of calculated cruelty. They are conduits for a primal biological imperative. This is not about blame. To blame a river for flowing downhill is to misunderstand the nature of the river. This is about patterns. It is about understanding the fundamental programming, the divine machinery that has been installed by millennia of evolution. Schopenhauer's genius was his ability to see what most men, blinded by romanticism and hope, refuse to see. He saw the unconscious machinery driving female behavior. It is this same machinery that, today, leaves intelligent, good-hearted men utterly baffled and heartbroken. It is the engine behind being ghosted by a woman who claimed to love you, of being discarded for a man who, by all logical measures, seems inferior. It is the source of that gut-wrenching feeling of being trapped in a modern dating market that feels hopelessly, impossibly rigged against you. But here is the unsettling, liberating truth. It is not rigged. You have just been playing the wrong game. You have been playing checkers on a cosmic chessboard. Think of the last time a woman's actions left you speechless, adrift in a sea of confusion. That sudden, inexplicable coldness that descended without warning, the excuses that crumbled under the slightest scrutiny, that didn't add up, the chilling, almost supernatural ability to rewrite history, to declare that we were never that serious, as if your shared pain, your shared joy, was nothing more than a fiction you had created in your own mind. Schopenhauer identified this phenomenon. He called it the denial of the will. A woman's psyche is not inherently cruel. It is ruthlessly efficient. She moves on, not out of malice, but because the biological imperative, the divine program for survival and propagation, demands it. And yet, in our modern world, this is where it gets dangerous. Our culture has conspired to create a grand illusion. It tells her, and it tells you, that this primal power does not exist. It teaches her to call it agency, to call it choice, to call it empowerment, but never, ever to call it what it truly is: instinct. She is taught that her decisions are the product of pure, rational deliberation, a conscious selection from a menu of options. This is the great deception. And that is precisely why the man who dares to point out the machinery, who speaks the truth of this primal directive, is immediately branded a misogynist. It is not because he is wrong, but because the illusion, the carefully constructed fantasy that human connection is purely a matter of conscious choice and romantic feeling, must be maintained at all costs. The system protects its own code. So where does that leave you, the seeker of truth? It leaves you trapped in a world where the rules are written in invisible ink, a world where your own intelligence becomes a curse, forcing you to overanalyze her mixed signals, to replay conversations in your mind like a detective solving a crime that, to her, was never a crime at all. But there is a way out. There is always a path to a higher frequency. And it starts with seeing what Schopenhauer saw. It starts with naming the secret weapon, the one that modern women don't even consciously know they are using, the one that, once you truly see it, changes everything. We will call it by its modern name, hypergamy. This is hypergamy's invisible hand, nature's beautiful, cruel joke. You have felt it before, even if you did not have a name for it. That moment when a woman's behavior defies all logic, when her actions seem to contradict her own stated values. She says she wants honesty, stability, and kindness. Then her energy is inexplicably drawn to a man who plays games, who embodies chaos and unpredictability. She claims to value loyalty above all else, yet her past is a graveyard of discarded good guys, men who gave her everything she said she wanted. You try to make sense of it. You try to rationalize the contradictions, to find the logical thread that will make it all cohere. But the harder you think, the deeper the confusion grows, because you are trying to apply logic to a system that does not operate on logic. It operates on instinct. Schopenhauer knew why. He understood that beneath the surface of modern dating, beneath the thin veneer of romantic ideals and social conventions, lies an ancient and powerful algorithm. It is an unconscious force, a primal directive that guides female choice with ruthless biological precision. It is not malice. It is not even conscious. It is simply how the machinery of life works. And once you truly see it, once you accept its existence without judgment, the confusion evaporates. The powerlessness you felt begins to dissolve. This secret weapon, this force we call hypergamy, is the hypergamous imperative. It is not just a preference, it is an instinctual drive, hardwired by millennia of natural selection. It is the sacred unconscious quest to secure the best possible genetic and material investment for herself and her potential offspring. Women, as the selective sex, are biologically tuned to seek and align with the highest value they can perceive. But here is where our modern world twists this ancient mechanism into something that creates immense suffering. In a world of globalized dating apps and endless social media feeds, the concept of best available is no longer local. It is no longer the best man in the village or the town. The best available is now the best she can perceive in an infinite global digital landscape. Her perception of options is limitlessly expanded, creating a constant, low-level hum of dissatisfaction, a perpetual question of, could I do better? This is why the same woman who once adored you, who saw you as her entire world, can, seemingly overnight, treat you like a complete stranger. It's why she can so effortlessly rewrite your shared history, declaring, I never really loved him, without a flicker of guilt. Her mind is not lying, not in the way you understand it. It is retroactively justifying the new directive of her instincts. If a higher value prospect appears, either in reality or in her perception, the past must be emotionally reshaped to fit the new hierarchy. The old connection must be devalued to make way for the new one. This is the engine of it. Most men fail at this point. They rage against the mechanism. They call women manipulative or disloyal. But you cannot rage against the tide. The mechanism doesn't care about your anger. It predates civilization. It outlasts morality. It simply is. The only power you have, the only true sovereignty you can claim, is to see it with absolute clarity and to step outside its grasp. So where does that leave you? Trapped in a game where the rules are rigged by nature? No, because once you understand the machinery, you can disengage from its gears. Now, we reveal the escape. Not by fighting the system, but by transcending it. This is the philosopher's gambit. This is the path to becoming ungameable. For centuries, men have responded to the cruel arithmetic of hypergamy in one of two ways: rage or resignation. They either curse the game, becoming bitter and resentful, or they let it break them, resigning themselves to a life of quiet desperation. They become either the incel or the simp, two sides of the same coin of powerlessness. But Schopenhauer, in his wisdom, offered a third path, a path that does not require denial or despair. It is the path of detachment through mastery. This is not about suppressing desire. It is about redirecting it. It is about taking the immense, powerful energy of your life force and redirecting it away from the fleeting, unreliable validation of women and towards something eternal, something unshakable, something that is entirely within your control. The ultimate truth is this: you cannot control female nature, but you can, with absolute authority, control what you value. And the moment you shift your focus from seeking to be chosen to becoming irresistible in your own right, the entire dynamic of your reality flips. Schopenhauer's answer was the life of the intellect, the sacred pursuit of art, philosophy, and self-mastery. He called it the denial of the will to life. But in modern terms, it is simpler. It is this: stop seeking love and start commanding respect. The man who builds a world so compelling, a purpose so strong, a mission so captivating that women are merely welcome guests within it, does not worry about being replaced. He knows his worth is not determined by her attention, but by his own creation. So how do you get there? How do you walk this path of the sovereign man? First, you must recognize that female approval is not a measure of your worth. It is a biological response to the value you project. The paradox of hypergamy is that the more you crave a woman's validation, the less she values you. Her instinct is repelled by neediness because neediness signals low value. But when you focus on your mission, whether it's building wealth, mastering a craft, or deepening your understanding of the world, you radiate a quiet authority, a centered presence that cannot be faked. Second, you must embrace the divine power of indifference. This does not mean becoming cold or emotionless. It means recognizing that women, like all people, are drawn to those who do not need them. The man who is genuinely content alone is the one who never fears being left. He becomes a source of gravitational pull, a fixed point in a chaotic world. Third, you must reframe rejection as natural selection. When a woman walks away, she is not rejecting you. She is following an instinct older than civilization itself. And that is fine, because the same mechanism that discards average men rewards exceptional ones. Instead of resenting the game, you must become the prize. This is the great irony, the beautiful paradox at the heart of it all. The less you care about winning women, the more they will try to win you. Not because you have tricked the system, but because you have stepped outside of it. You have made yourself a man who cannot be measured by the same rules. Schopenhauer called this sublime state the sublime. It is the realization that true power does not come from controlling others, but from mastering yourself. And when you reach that state, something unexpected happens. You no longer see women as adversaries or prizes, but as human beings, flawed and beautiful, just like you. Now comes the most important piece of this transmission, the key to turning this philosophy into action. The final revelation is this: knowledge alone changes nothing. You can understand hypergamy on an intellectual level. You can recite Schopenhauer's philosophy verbatim. But if you do not forge these truths into the steel of your daily practice, you remain just another man who knows, but does not live. The difference between suffering and sovereignty is not insight, it is implementation. So how does a modern man apply the black pill without becoming bitter? How does he navigate a world where female nature is immutable, yet still find meaning, power, and even joy? The answer lies in what we will call the philosopher's code. 3 irreversible shifts that transform awareness into action. First, the death of hope. This sounds bleak, but it is the very foundation of all freedom. Most male suffering stems from a single pervasive delusion. If I just find the right woman, things will be different. She will complete me. This is a fantasy. But Schopenhauer understood. Hope is the bait that keeps men trapped in endless cycles of validation seeking. The moment you accept, deep in your soul, that no woman will ever complete you, that no relationship will ever be truly safe from the immutable laws of nature, you become free. Not free from love, but free from dependency on it. This is why the ancients worshipped gods of destruction before creation. You must burn the fantasy to build something real. Second, the cultivation of unshakable value. Detachment does not mean retreating from the world. It means engaging with it on your terms. The philosopher warrior builds a life so intrinsically rewarding that women become optional, a delightful addition, but not the centerpiece. This could be financial independence, physical mastery, artistic creation, or intellectual pursuit. But it must be something that cannot be taken from you. Unlike looks, money, or status, which hypergamy constantly evaluates, true value is internal. A woman can leave your bed, but she can never leave your mind unless you invite her to reside there. Third, the art of strategic engagement. Here is where most black pill thinkers fail. They assume that recognizing the game means refusing to play. But the enlightened man plays better. He enjoys women without worshiping them. He participates in dating without being consumed by it. He knows attraction is immoral, so he does not moralize it. He wields it. This means maintaining an abundance mindset, setting ruthless boundaries, and walking away at the first sign of disrespect, not as a tactic, but as a principle. The result? A life where you are neither predator nor prey, but something far more dangerous. A man who cannot be manipulated because he has nothing to lose. A man who loves when it serves him and leaves when it doesn't. A man who, like Schopenhauer, sees the world with icy clarity, but unlike Schopenhauer, does not let that knowledge paralyze him. This is the ultimate irony. By accepting the darkest truths about human nature, you gain access to a lightness that naive men will never know. You laugh at the absurdity of the game even as you play it. You appreciate women without needing them. And when the inevitable betrayals come, as they will, you feel the sting, but never the wound. The secret weapon was never theirs. It was always yours. The ability to see, to understand, and to transcend. Welcome to the other side.